Okay, guys, so we just got a new inflation meter reading and it's not good. And we had thought that inflation was going down, down, down. We had gotten, well, about 6 months of inflation going down, 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 and it was on the right track, right? We're like, all right, good. Inflation's going down. Well, we think it's on the right track, right? Well, that's not the case anymore. Yeah. And, the problem with inflation is that it's not just, you know, everything is fine and dandy. And this new reading basically shows us that. And yeah. And a lot of it is going to be, well, you're thinking, Jimmy, yeah. And this is the problem here with what the Fed's doing. And this is going to be a problem going forward with, and I'll give you guys, I'll let you hear what some of these, bigwigs are thinking and saying, and this is going to also, you know, determine what the Fed is going to do with interest rates. Remember, those interest rates really affect your credit card interest rates, your bank loans, your mortgage rates, and what you pay on interest. So it ends up costing you money, those credit card fees and stuff like that. Yeah. So here we go. Yeah. Also, thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos. So I keep you up to date here on all this stuff. Okay, a key inflation measure surges at the fastest rate since June of last year, which is not good at all. Not good at all. And when the Fed sees this, which of course they already have, what do you think they're going to do with interest rates? Yeah, it's not good at all. Yeah, you can see here the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation gauge rose. So this is the number one inflation gauge that they go by, which is even worse. Rose last month at its fastest pace since June, at an alarming sign that prices continue or are now back on the rise after they have been going down here and are pressuring and remain entrenched in the U.S. economy and could lead the Fed to keep raising interest rates well into this year. I'll give you some more details here on that in a second. The new report from the Commerce Department shows that consumer prices rose 0.6% from December to January in just a single month, mind you, up sharply from 0.2% increase from November to December. Yeah, so remember these come out here and they're kind of lagged from like a month ago. That's how it takes some time to compile the data. On a year over year basis, prices rose 5.4%, up from 5.3% increase in December. But the important number here is that we went from a 0.2% increase from the month before and rose sharply to 0.6%. And this is the number one gauge that the Fed watches. Yeah, Jerome Powell and the Fed he's probably has got his number or his finger on the red button to raise interest rates almost instantly, right? Excluding volatile food and energy. This is the big thing. So this is excluding food and energy, which is your gas and your electric bills and stuff like that. So-called core inflation rose 0.6% from December. Wow. And up 0.4% from the previous month. Wow. The report also showed that consumer spending rose 1.8% from the previous month after falling the previous month. Wow. Yeah, here's what financial analyst Jim Cramer and one of the CEOs of the largest banks in the country, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, has to say. Take a listen here.
There's something wrong because maybe that's too short a term. Maybe what we're thinking about when we talk about the Fed is not what is happening, boots on the ground here.
Yeah, I think they're different. I mean, the Fed, look, I have all respect for Jay Powell, but the fact is we lost a little bit of control of inflation. Models didn't pick that up. I've always been suspicious of models, and when we use them extensively, I always say use a little bit of judgment too. And there's been a sea change. Governments are borrowing a lot of money, and you got to incorporate that in what's taking place. That means they're spending it. That's inflationary. Wages we've seen come down, but not so much.
Right.
Oil and gas will probably be going up because the investment in it has been curtailed.
Right.
And the green economy, we think it's close to $4 trillion a year of additional spending. So you're talking, and the IRA Act, which I think has a lot of good stuff in it, the Infrastructure Act, the CHICS Act, this is huge money. And so, you've had a sea change. And I think we should all get adjusted to that. And, we'll have more normalization of interest rates, and we'll be fine. Just remember, America's the most prosperous area of the planet. We'll be fine.
Okay, but I know that area very well. My family's been here for 175 years. Mm-hmm. That area has not had vibrancy for 65 years. Right. Are you telling me that government did anything to that area? We talk about the government needs this, government did nothing for that area. That's why that area is so underbanked and the people are poorer than they should be. JP Morgan is more important than the government when it comes to that area. Yeah. Why talk about the government so much? So you're the business source. Business is the greatest source for social change.
Yeah, I totally agree, but we need good government policy, and we got to do it in collaboration. So we're doing a lot of collaboration there. The mayor was there.
Yes, that was great.
You need zoning laws changed. You need inner city schools to teach kids.
And your people will do that? Your branch will do that?
We try to do all of that. We try to get kids jobs. We're hiring ex-felons now. We got rid of college degree required where necessary. Right. But we need government to change the mortgage laws to make them more affordable to people. We need government to do a better job in inner city school education. We need government to do a better job with the zoning laws for affordable housing. So, in collaboration, you can lift up that neighborhood. And you're absolutely correct. A lot of government rules, regulations, requirements, they completely backfire. They have the total adverse consequence to what they were intended to do, but they don't change them. So we need government to be a little more reactive.
Yeah. Do you need government? Now.
Yeah, so the thing is that this is not looking good. Food prices have not been coming down. Gas prices have not been coming down. Rent prices are not coming down. And now, we're seeing things like, when you go to buy a new car or you go to buy a new house or, a used house, basically, a house on the market, the sticker price may have come down because they were largely inflated here 6 months ago. But the problem is the interest rates. The interest rates are sky high now. You're looking at 6% interest rates on home loans when a year ago you were able to get them at 3% or under. Okay? That's the problem here. And now with this inflation reading, we're probably looking at, instead of inflation or interest rates stopping, we could be looking at multiple more interest rates hikes. Yeah. Here's what one of the chief economists at Moody's, basically one of the top analyst firms, says to say here. Take a look at this. And this could be getting even worse now with this data. Listen.
A couple more rate hikes, March, May, makes sense, quarter point each. That's what's embedded in markets. Although today markets are starting, as you say, to discount a June rate hike. I don't think I'd argue with anybody. If they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to have a third rate hike in June," I don't think I'd argue with them. But in my outlook, I think a couple more rate hikes makes the most sense.
Yeah, so they're already talking about 2 or 3 more rate hikes just in the first half of this year. Yeah. Now we got this new report that's coming out, and the Fed and Jerome Powell and the other Fed presidents that vote on rate hikes are going to see this and go, oh, well, look, now we have this new sharp inflation spike. And what do you think we should do? What do you think they're going to do? And remember, when they do this, it raises interest rates, and it raises interest rates on your credit cards. It raises interest rates on mortgage rates. It raises interest rates on car loans, new car loans, used car loans, personal loans, anything that you need to get a loan on. Remember that credit cards are actual loans here. And if this wasn't bad enough, I'll show you this. Nearly half of millennials and Gen Xers, which is a lot of people, I'll show you here, have more credit card debt than savings, which means they have a negative net worth. Look here. Nearly half of Americans in their prime working years, this is like right before retirement in some cases, ages 27 to 58, now have credit card debts that exceed the balance in their savings accounts, according to new surveys. This is when they're, like they said, in their prime working years, when they're making the most amount of money and have more credit card debt than in their savings accounts. So they have negative net worths in probably a lot of cases. It doesn't give us the full details here, but on their full net worths. But roughly 45% of millennials and Gen X consumers surveyed report credit card balances greater than their savings or their emergency funds, according to an annual emergency savings report released this week by Bankrate, the consumer lending site. The nation's credit card debt reached a record $930 billion, a billion with a B, at the end of last year. That doesn't even include this year, I guess, January, February, which we've had even more rate hikes and credit card interest rates have gone even higher since then. And remember that credit card interest rates are at the highest they have ever been. The average credit card interest rate at 20% or maybe even a little bit higher now, with the highest credit card interest rates over 35%. According to an analyst by TransUnion Credit Agency, and interest rates at sky high around 19% for existing accounts, 22% for new applicants, according to one NerdWallet estimate, which is another kind of internet forum out there. Bottom line, quote, a growing number of Americans are leaning on increasing expensive credit card debt, said Mark Hamrick, senior economist analyst for Bankrate. Bankrate, conducted mostly in January, found that 51% of Americans polled have more savings than credit card debt. 36% had more credit card debt than savings, and 13% reported neither savings nor credit card debt. 2/5 of American that responded said they have less emergency savings now than a year ago, while 1/4 said they have more. Absent an emergency fund, the average household may struggle to cover an unexpected expense. In the new survey, only 43% of respondents said they would even be able to cover a $1,000 expense with saving, suggesting that many consumers don't even have $1,000 saved up. Wow. Yeah. And when you even look at the cost of a home, the average cost of a heater for a home can be $2,000 to $3,000. For a large home can be $6,500. Cost of a AC for air conditioner for a home can be $5,000, $3,800 for smaller systems. So I mean, $1,000 really isn't that much. I mean, who's kidding who? If you need to fix your car and you take your car to a mechanic or heaven forbid a dealer, $1,000 is nothing. I mean, you go to fix your car and you need to get the transmission fixed or something like that. $1,000 is not very much nowadays. I mean, you go to the grocery store and you spend $100, like absolutely nothing. $200 easily. I mean, you fill up a whole grocery cart and it's $200. So, I mean, you guys can let me know your thoughts here, but it's a tough time for American consumers, and I'll keep you up to date here. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon, because I tell you the truth and I show you the details here directly on the screen so you can see it with your own eyes and hear everything here on our YouTube channel. So click subscribe. Thanks for liking and sharing these videos with anybody that needs to hear them. And here's some videos you can watch next. Here's a video that could add money to your Social Security payments and Medicaid ending for millions of Americans. Or here's a video about the $2,400 Social Security raise. New information just came out for 2023, And really, I just did that video like yesterday. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.